emotional and physical abuse in homes is unfortunately gaining headlines in recent times in Nigeria. It's termed domestic and sexual violence. And reports show that it's been in existence for a long time, only getting reported these days. Well, it's going to be our core of discussion on this episode of Big Story. You're welcome. I'm Ini John Mekwana. The United Nations Women's Report for Nigeria shows that lifetime physical and/or sexual intimate partner violence stands at 16%. Physical and/or sexual intimate partner violence in the last 12 months stands at 11%. Lifetime non-partner sexual violence is at 2%. Child marriage is 44%. Female genital mutilation is 18%. Many states in the country, one of them Lagos, has taken the subject to heart and even created the Domestic and Sexual Violence Response Team with the sole responsibility to intervene in reported cases. Titilola Vaivo Adeniyi is the coordinator of the team.
We believe that domestic violence is a real issue. It's a problem. It's no more a women's rights movement. It's more of a human rights issue. It is a problem because we're seeing an increase in reportage. In 2016, DSVRT on its own handled 440 cases. In 2017, we handled 1,443. As at this year, in March, we have already seen over 333. So we are seeing a steady rise of reportage. Now, it is not something that we should be worried about because we've always, this vice, domestic violence, has always been there. It is commendable that we're seeing more people reporting, and it's good. It means people are more aware. People believe in the support systems. People are even speaking up more on behalf of others. So it is a big problem. And we're seeing domestic violence leading to mortality, leading to homicide, leading to murder. And they will tell you that when you're privileged to engage survivors, they will say it didn't just start. They've been experiencing it. Sometimes it starts with verbal, sometimes emotional abuse. It's a cycle. There's what we call a cycle of abuse before it becomes, before it goes physical and then it goes back. So they will tell you that we've married for 10, 15 years. It started even happening while they were courting. You know, they saw the signs, but you know, maybe pressures to get married or believing that they could change the person. They went into the relationship knowing fully well that this person is exhibiting some anger or some questionable traits. So it goes back to the fact that these issues have always been there. What we're seeing now is people are speaking up more. And speaking up, going to formal institutions, police, non-governmental organizations, and government to have their cases heard and determined.
We are having increased cases of domestic and sexual violence in Lagos State. And not just domestic and sexual violence that ultimately results in murder. It's on the increase. We are getting too many cases of men killing their wives, wives killing their husbands, and it's becoming worrisome.
This episode of the program is going to take a slightly different format because with me here I have Treasure George. Treasure George is a survivor of domestic violence. Treasure, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
And then we have Christian Love. Christian Love is a lawyer.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Okay, and then we have Tina Uche. Tina Uche is a counselor. She handles a lot of cases that involve domestic and sexual violence.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Treasure George is here to tell us her story as a survivor of domestic violence. Treasure, you're welcome to the program once again.
Thank you.
So let's hear your story.
I got married in the year 2012, and the first 6 months was good. But later I started noticing his behavior.
He changed in so many ways. He started assaulting me, abusing me, you know, molestations and a lot. There are so many times he will like assault me, maybe telling me why should I use his property, use insultive words on me. Like, for instance, maybe I washed his clothes and mistakenly bleached it a little bit. He would be like, God, thunder will fire me for doing that, you know. Tear my clothes, throw my things outside. So, actually, it happened in 2016 when we had a little issue. He wasn't coming home for almost 6 to 7 months. I haven't seen him in the house. And my parents came home late in the night to stay with me and discovered that he wasn't there. So they called him to come over and he started creating a scene, causing a scene. My mom was backing my firstborn. He collected my firstborn from my mom, pushed my mom, and she fell from the balcony. And I was inside and he started holding my clothes. He wanted to beat me up. So, to cut the long story, then he collected my baby. Then I was staying with my mom. And he called me so many times that he's coming to collect my baby after, because I was pregnant. He's coming to collect the second child. I was so scared and I had to come here to report my case to Women Arise. Then they told me to go to court. While in court, I tabled my matter before the judge, and luckily for me, they told me to serve him the letter, of which I did, and he came. He came with his sister, and he was saying all sorts of things, that he has been a supportive husband, that I'm his property, me and my child, and he's right there in court that he wants to collect the second one. So I was expecting the court to, like, you know how they'll collect my first child from him, but they told him, you know, they just ended the matter like that, and they keep adjourning the case. They keep adjourning the case.
All right, so let's talk to Christian Love. I mean, you were handling her case and some other cases like this. What is our chance to get back her first child, or at least get justice? And what strength or what benefits do people stand, people who have been victims of domestic violence, to win cases like this or other related cases in courts?
The mills of justice grind slowly but surely. There are many issues that arises from domestic violence. Is it, do you need to have judicial separation, or are you suing for custody of the child, or are you going for full divorce? And we live in a society that frowns at all the solutions that law wants to give to conflicts within marriage, because we live within a culture of silence, and that says, you know, just go stay with your husband, you know, work it out. So those thoughts are also prevalent within the court system. In Treasure's case, it's a customary court because she got married under the customary law. And so, and with all the applications we've made to the court, of course, the husband was invited because he has a right of fair hearing. And we've been to court like 6 times, but we've not been able to get the second child. At least we have prevented we've not been able to get the first child, but at least we have prevented second child from being taken, because if he didn't take the steps that we took and he saw that there were lawyers behind her, of course he would have been emboldened to take away the second child. You know, so for me, the first thing I would say to people is seek justice. I mean, speak up. And so having spoken up, understand that justice is still going to be done, but you have to be committed. And more importantly, before you step into marriage and a marriage institution, and both the religious leaders, both the family, we need to be careful and to ensure that we investigate before we invest in the kind of people that people are getting married to. And also our court system needs to speed up their process in such a way that the victims are not discouraged from seeking justice. On our part as lawyers, we do our best, and we can only hope for the best, but we will not give up until everybody that feels cheated within the family system gets compensation.
All right, so let's hear from the counselor now. It seems we have a lot of women coming out, and yet we have heard stories where some wives have killed their husbands. Do you also have cases where men are the victim?
I don't know whether it's a cultural thing or their ego or whatever, I don't know. But the few that we've handled, I want to call out the authorities, because the reaction they get from the station, at times they say, "Oga, how can your wife be beating you up now? You know the shame." So they hear this kind of a thing, and majority don't come out. Let me tell you, men suffer a lot of emotional abuse, psychological abuse, because we've come to know that there are some women that have very caustic mouth, acidic mouth, that the men most times, I don't know how to put it, the men most times suffer more than the women, but because naturally the women are always coming out, and most times even the women, at times they will come. Normally when they come to us, we have to hear the other side. We don't. But we find out that by the time we invite the other person, and maybe the husband, we find out that the woman may be even the guilty one. So about the men, because of the cultural or the egoistic nature of the men, they don't speak out until we hear that somebody is dead, somebody has been stabbed and things like that. They don't come out like the women. We work with the police, because immediately somebody comes to us to complain about rape, or the first thing, or domestic violence, the first thing we say, have to go to the nearest police station, to wherever the offense took place, to complain. Then we follow it up. What we want to talk about, to let the authority know that the police needs more training in this area, and they should not be making fun because of the victims. That's why some rape cases are not reported. A rape victim will go to the station, then they will just be making fun of the person. Why did you allow yourself to be raped? Why did you expose yourself? That is not the issue. Rape has been committed, and it should be dealt with. So irrespective of whatever, because as far as we know, the rape victim is always right, as far as rape is concerned.
No! Not to rape! Not to rape! Not to rape! Not to rape! Not to rape!